Hi, ladies.
Hey,
Hello.
good
Hey,
evening.
happy Thursday.
Happy
Happy
Thursday.
Thursday.
How's everybody doing? How was your week?
Busy,
Good.
but
Busy,
good.
stress, good.
Yep.
This
All of the above.
was my first week back into the office, and
Ooh, how was that?
I survived. So I'm still here. So that's okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So God is good all the time.
Indeed, indeed.
So,
Absolutely.
hi, everybody out there listening. We are back for our Good Girlfriends Thursday, and I'm Cara Dunstan. We're going to introduce ourselves. Our topic tonight is vision boards, and we are blessed to have Daryl Wharton, who's a certified life coach, who's going to share all kinds of tips and secrets to having a successful vision board. So
Yes.
I will move this over to Marcia Penn.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I am Marcia Penn. In full disclosure, my vision board is a virtual background. But as I was looking at vision board, it's this particular virtual background, as I looked at it, spoke to me in many ways. And I also love the color in it. So looking forward to the conversation tonight and enhancing the vision board that I started a year ago that I haven't moved forward yet. So looking forward to this conversation and good to see everyone.
And we have what says the future Mrs. Adams, but she's already the Mrs. Adams. So
Right.
she needs to
Yay.
change her name on
Come on, Mrs. Adams. There you go. See,
Mrs.
Right?
Adams here. This is the first time we've had Mrs. Adams on. So can you introduce yourself, please? You're on mute.
Unmute.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Cecilia Adams, better known as CC, and welcome to Good Girlfriends.
Good to see you, Cece.
Congratulations, Cece.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I guess this you all are waiting for me, huh? Yes.
Right. It
Or-
looks like we
yeah.
have another. It looks like we have another guest coming in. Actually, we have
Oh, that's wonderful.
Amira is coming in. So
Yay.
we can
Yes.
let her come in now. Hi,
Hey,
Amira.
Hello. Hi, Amira.
Hey,
We were
can y'all
just
hear me?
introducing ourselves. So thank you for joining us, Amira.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Perfect timing, Amira. Introduce yourself.
Oh, hey, oh, it's different people today. Okay. Hey, I'm Amira. I am a nurse and I am Marcia's friend, good girlfriend
Yeah.
on the cancer initiative at Drexel. I don't know what else do I say. I feel like I've been talking all day.
Well, I know we have been, and I was also telling folks that I invited Amira because Amira's family does a vision boarding annually. Is that correct, Amira?
Yes.
So we're also
I'm
looking
trying
forward
I'm trying to
hearing
fix
from-
my background so y'all can see my vision board. That's all.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's
How do you like mine, Amira? Do you like my vision board?
So now we have Jeanette.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday again. I'm excited to see everyone, but I'm especially excited to see Cece. Hello, Mrs. Adams. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So I will just quickly say I am always very happy to be in the virtual living room with my good girlfriends. Welcome to any new guests that are watching us. I'm just going to say we are not experts about any topics that we discuss. We are just good girlfriends coming together, kicking it, loving on each other, and sharing information. So I am ready to jump into our topic. I think vision boarding is wonderful. It's a great way to set goals. I started doing that process myself last year with Cara. She brought me into the vision boarding fold, and it's something that I can plan to continue to do, for myself and with my family. So
Yes. So I think I started doing vision boards about 6 years ago, and I had always written my goals down in a journal, but I started the vision boarding about 6 years ago, and I just pulled out a few of my old vision boards, and I realized that some of them had on there what we're doing tonight. I started putting on a vision board a few years ago, seeking sisterhood and podcast and Girls United, and a point of view was meant to be shared. And awesome Black girl was all in one area at the top of my vision board. And so now we are here. I had no idea that it was going to look in this form or fashion of Good Girlfriends chat, but clearly it was on my vision board for a while. And I just also brought another sample. This is one I started because as you can see, my old vision boards were always just on a board with some cutouts, but I went to a retreat recently and we made more decorative ones. And I'm not that creative, but I did paint it a little bit and put some glitter on it, and it makes me feel good, but it's coming along, but I'm starting my 2022 vision. So yeah, we've made it annual. Jeanette and I have decided we're going to do it annually on New Year's Day. That's our date. And we're trying to get as many people interested in doing it with us. We did it on Zoom last year. It worked out really well. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to hear from an expert, Daryl, on how to make this even more successful this year. So Daryl, please share with us now all your tips. And
yes. So good evening, everyone. My name is Daryl, and I am a mindset transformation coach. And vision boards, I could say, absolutely helped me to turn my corner. And I'll share a little bit of my story. You know, we all have a story. Why do we start this? Why do we start that? My highest weight was 674 pounds. It has been over 20 years ago since I had my weight loss surgery, and I did have some success with my weight loss surgery, but then I got stuck in the high 300s, and I was there for 10 long years because of my mindset, because even such as a drastic surgery, such as having a gastric bypass surgery, you can still fail, you can gain your weight back, and you can get stuck depending upon how you think about your weight loss and your health and your wellness. And so I decided, okay, I can no longer say that I just had a baby, because my youngest was probably about 8 or 9 at the time. And I have 3 girls and I had them back to back. So then I started doing other things, and I watched The Secret maybe about when my youngest was about 2. And I actually was really mad after watching that little movie, because I was like, this not no daggone secret. What are y'all talking about, thinking stuff and believing it and all that stuff? So I did not receive it well, because I was still in that mindset of concrete and, you know, picking up something, and 1 + 1 is 2, and you had to physically feel something instead of pulling in my emotions and my spirituality into creating the reality for myself. And so I actually just rewatched The Secret maybe about 2 years ago. And I was like, okay, I get it now, because I was already started to go that route. So I started with just one affirmation. And I just started to say to myself, everything always works out for me. And I didn't quite believe it. And that's the good thing about affirmations, that you don't have to believe it, because when you're saying your affirmations, you're actually training your subconscious mind to do all of this work for you. So that's part of my work too. I teach people about their subconscious mind. And a little trick that I give to them is make yourself 2 people, create a nickname for your subconscious mind, because she takes direction from you. She does everything that you tell her to do. So if you say you're broke all the time, she will make sure that you are broke. If you say I'm not happy, or no one cares about me, or no one loves me, she will make sure that the actions that you do or the people that you attract will make that come true for you. And so I am a firm believer in you determine your outcome, period. Even if you had, we all have, well, not all of us, but some of us have experienced trauma, some of us severe, some of us not so much. And so we take that trauma and we internalize it. And then we also, as we get older, especially if it happens in childhood, we create stories around it to the point where we actually believe this trauma. You know how you'll talk to somebody, you say, well, remember that time when we were in the 6th grade and you said this to me and it really hurt my feelings, and then your friend will say, that's not what I meant, but you done created that story in your head all of those years, and your subconscious mind believed it and he or she acted on it. So your subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of every single thing that you do. And she never sleeps. She is a part of you that keeps you awake at night and keep you breathing while you're dreaming and off in la la land. She's doing the work of making sure your body is still working. So the point of a vision board and saying affirmations is really speaking to that part of you, so that when you are out driving and doing nothing, she's working in the background. So that's how I started doing vision boards after I started doing the affirmations. And I was in that club too, where I did my vision board on January the 1st every year. And then probably about, I don't know, January the 20th or something, I never even went back to the board. You know, I never looked at it. I didn't utilize it on a daily basis so that I can keep reminding myself of what I'm doing, because we often forget what we are working on unless it's something right in the forefront of your mind. And we forget that, you know what, how I've been doing it, it's not working. So I need to do it another way. But if you're used to going to work the same way every day, that's your subconscious mind taking you to work. You don't even have to think about it. You just get in the car and you drive to work. But that one day that there may be an accident, that's your conscious mind telling your subconscious mind, oh, that's not going to work today. We have to do something different. So you want to get in a habit of, you know, breaking that same routine up. And a good way to do that is through vision boards. And so then I started to say, well, you know what, if I really want to do this, I think I need to revisit, self-reflect more often than every year, because I found that I was in the same place every January the 1st. Nothing really took part for me. Maybe 1 or 2 things may, you know, manifested for me. But for the most part, I have really forgotten what I had even put on my vision board. So I'm just going to start with the first 5 tips that I always give my clients when they are doing vision boards. I often say your vision board should have a time limit. And it should be no longer than 30, 60, or 90 days, no longer than 90 days. And then you reassess and may possibly do another one, and you know, make sure that you're still on that same course that you are going towards. I'm not against doing a vision board on January 1st for the whole year. I think that's great. But then what you can do after that is create other smaller vision boards under that big umbrella that you're putting these really big things for yourself for the year, but then create vision boards with smaller goals that will build up to the bigger goals that you have on your yearly vision board. And so I often will do that as well. But I'm so in tune to doing one every 90 days. I just have a new one every 90 days. So that's the tip number 1, is to have your time constraint on it, because it also helps you to hold yourself accountable. The other tip is you must have a picture of yourself on your vision board. And the reason for that is it helps with the visualization. That's one of the 4 things that I use in my signature mindset makeover method is visualization. You want to see yourself. Let's say you want a new job, you want to be the CEO of whatever. You want to see yourself in your suit and them cute high heel shoes and your matching briefcase. You want to see yourself walking into work every day. You want to feel, how does it feel when you walk in and everybody knows, hey, that's the CEO. You want to tag all of those emotions into it. So you want a current picture of yourself on your vision board, because you want to see all the things that you want for yourself surrounding you. And that's how you're going to think every day too. You're going to see yourself. You're going to believe. Even if you don't believe it, you're going to see yourself, because you don't have to believe it yet. All you need to do is to start with a thought of what you want. And you keep telling yourself, eventually you will believe it and you'll know that nothing will stop you. So you must have a picture of yourself on your vision board. The other thing that I like to tell my clients is you don't want any more than 3 to 5 goals on your 30, 60, or 90-day vision board, because it's a lot to work on. You don't want 10 goals on your vision board because you're already going to feel overwhelmed and you want to build upon things. And so it's easier if you only have 3 to 5 goals on your timeline vision board for those 90 days. The last thing that I want to say is you also want to make sure that your vision board is a smaller size. I like to move my vision board around. So I don't want a big, huge vision board. It's fine to do your yearly vision board because of course you're going to have a lot of things on there because you have this big umbrella because you have 365 days to work on it. But your other vision boards, I would do a smaller one, no bigger than 11 by 14. I'm going to turn my camera around. I have 2. This is like my vision table. I ain't playing. So that's my book cover, but this is one of my vision boards, and that's another one. I never throw my vision boards away, but you see how small they are, and they're mobile. So if I know I'm going to be in my office for the day, I'll bring it down to my office. If I know I'm going to be upstairs for part of the day, I may take it to work for me and keep it there for a couple of days. But you want it so that you know that you have it. It's not so big that you can't have it somewhere that you can see it all the time and move it around. And also by it being a certain size, you don't feel so overwhelmed when you look at it and you see 25 things on it. And so I like to tell my clients to make sure that you have it so that it's movable and not necessarily something that you have to set up somewhere behind a couch because it's so big. I'm sorry, this is the last thing. I also like, and I noticed on your background, Marcy, is that you have bold printed words on your vision board. Look. So I always like to tell my clients that you want short, phrases, words, a word by itself, or short sentences. You don't want a paragraph on your vision board, because what you want to be able to do is glance at it and you're going to see and notice those 3 to 5 goals immediately, because it's not so many and you have those words bolded on your paper. I'm going to be honest, and a lot of people look at me like, what? I am not a big fan of the magazines. I'm not a big fan of the magazines because some people, they just start cutting. They just start cutting stuff out. They haven't really thought about it. I like to tell my clients, you want to sit for a moment. You want to do some deep breathing exercises. You may want to do a guided visualization. You want to journal a little bit. You really want to be specific and strategic about what you're asking for. When I weighed as heavy as I did, and I have never been small. I joined Weight Watchers at the age of 7 with my mother. So my goal, even as a little girl, and I used to pray, God, make me skinny. I just want to be skinny. I just want to be skinny. And until I really defined what that skinny was, after I had been stuck for 10 years, because I was like, okay, God, now I've been asking to be skinny. Now what's going on? What's the problem? Because I ain't skinny yet. Once I defined what that was for me, and my skinny was my blood work looking good, my blood pressure being good, me being able to, if somebody started chasing me, can I run? If I fell down, can I get up real cute? I had to realize that I needed, let me describe, because maybe God not understanding. Let me describe what I really want. I want to be able to walk into any store and buy my clothes. I used to have to get my clothes out the Big and Tall Men catalog when I was that heavy, because you can't just walk into the store and buy clothes. And so once I really defined what that was, that's when things started to really, it clicked with me. And my subconscious mind, her name is Pepper, by the way. So, and Pepper don't play. She does not play. When I tell her this is what we're doing, she does exactly what I tell her to do. But if she's been thinking a certain way, and I just turned 50 this year, she's been thinking a certain way for 45 years, it's not going to happen overnight. So you have to be disciplined, focused, persistent, and consistent. That's one of my affirmations. I'm disciplined, focused, persistent, and consistent. And your affirmations need to roll off your tongue. My body is healthy, fit, strong, flexible, and comfortable. I don't just say I want my body to be healthy. Let me tell you what my healthy looks like for me. And so those are the types of things that I will have on my vision board. And so it's really simple. It's so simple that a lot of people overlook it, and they just don't even, they say, oh, I'm not doing that, because that's just too good to be true. But I always like to start my clients off with doing a vision board, and then we really start to do the work of the, affirmations and saying them every day. I like to, I teach about the brain and making sure that the best time to look at your vision board and say your affirmations is when you wake up and right before you go to bed, because our brains are in that theta state where it's like a sponge. And right before you go to bed, you're muted. Okay. Okay, so it's important that that you do that in the morning and right before you go to bed, because that's when my Pepper and your subconscious mind, she's going to be really listening. And even if you look at a lot of people who are very successful, they always have a morning routine. I don't have no speaking too much of a night routine, but I want to make sure that right before I go to sleep, when I lay down, I say my affirmations with myself. My husband and I may say an affirmation together. And so it's important that right before I know that I go off into that sleep mode, I want her to know this is what I need you to work on tonight. And even in the morning, it sets your tone for the day. It pumps you up. It's almost like you got a little cheerleader in the background that other people don't know. And I picture myself. I do tell a lot of people, I guess, I have like theme music and it changes. So right now it's that song, what is it? When I walk through, and I gotta find a clean version of that song. It's like when I'm walking out, I'm like, hey, when I walk through, and it's just playing in my head, because I'm determined that, number one, I am grateful for another day to live in my purpose and to make a difference. That's my gratitude statement. Another thing, I like to put a gratitude statement on my vision board, because when you are grateful for things, you attract more things to be grateful for. And so I think it's important that you see how I'm just rolling off my affirmations. It is something that I practice. And the gratitude statement is very, very important. It is key that you are, I don't care if every day when you're journaling, if you just think of 2 to 3 things to be grateful for, even amongst, tragedy, or if you're going through something, if you just find a little bit of light in your day, no matter what it is, it's going to help you to always look at your glass as being half full instead of half empty. And I'm going to use that half full metaphor to also, especially for women, because we are nurturers. And we take care of everybody else before we take care of ourselves. So now I think of my glass, and I look at my glass, no, it's overflowing, because now I have things to give out to the world, to other people. And my goal is to help other women to wake up feeling absolutely amazing, no matter what their size is. You can look at me, I'm still plus size. Y'all see me extra cute, extra curvy. I'm not trying to be skinny. That doesn't mean that I may want to lose some more weight. I have arthritis in my knees. They just started hurting me again. But when that first 100 pounds that I lost, that pain went away. It doesn't hurt me like it used to. But I also had to be honest with myself and say, okay, homegirl, you may have to lose a little bit more so your knees will feel better. And so that self-reflection is always key, to self-reflect and be honest with yourself. Pull yourself up, check yourself. And so when you go back and you revisit your vision board and you see, okay, I really didn't work on this a lot. 9 times out of 10, you didn't look at it enough. You didn't create an affirmation for that vision board. You're not saying it throughout the day. I say my affirmations throughout the entire day. I act, talk, walk, breathe as a multi-million-dollar business owner that I am. And how you say it. You have to, like I said, you have to be your cheerleader. It is important. And so, and when you feel good about yourself and you feel good about what you're doing, it transfers to other people. It comes out in my smile when I talk to people. I always make sure I smile to people. And that was just a habit. Sometimes people probably looking at me like, why is she smiling? And I can honestly say, girl, because I'm happy. I woke up today and there is nothing that you can say or you can do that could change that for me. Now, that doesn't mean I don't get sad, but I bounce back so fast because I'm so in tune to my spirituality and I'm so aligned with my highest self and my purpose. And my goal is to always make sure that my vibrations are getting higher and higher and higher and share that with the world. Because if I can help 5 people feel good about themselves, because they feel good about themselves, they're going to go out and it's going to show to other people and it's going to make other people feel better about themselves. And that's my spiel on vision boards. It's so simple. It's really not hard to do, but you have to be diligent with it. And it takes practice. And it's okay if it's not all cutesy. It doesn't have to be all cutesy. It just has to be clear and strategic. Because you don't want to ask for something, just like the skinny, example, I can get real sick and get skinny. That's not what I want. So you have to make sure that you are strategically asking for what you want when you're doing your vision board. And that's it.
But I just want to say, I think that being clear is so important. And it's also very difficult, right? Because, we often say we want certain things. But I was watching a show on TV, and the person was given a wish. If you could have one thing, what would it be, right? And everybody, at one point in your life thinks that would be the best gift someone can give you, right? To grant you the one wish. Mm-hmm. And I, turned that question to myself, and I couldn't decide. Like, I couldn't really say, what would that one thing be for me, right? Because I agree with you. You have to be clear and strategic about what you're asking for, because you might get something you don't want. And to your point, sometimes you're asking God for things, but you haven't really been very specific about what it is. It's very generic. So that's an excellent point, and something that I'm, trying to get clear on for myself too.
A lot of people ask for money too. And I always tell my clients, I want a lot of money. And it's like, you really don't want the money. What you want is
the freedom.
Yes. You want the security of having the money. You want the security of not answering to someone else and to be able to do what you want to do in life. You want the emotions that come with the security of having the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So
I want to run through, I want to make sure I got the points straight. You said vision board should have a time limit, 30, 60, no more than 90 days.
Yeah.
If you do a yearly one, that's fine, but make smaller ones based on that timing. And if you do every 90 days maximum, you should reassess and redo it and make them smaller vision boards. Number 2, you must have a picture of yourself. Right. And you said a current picture of yourself on your vision.
Don't put no picture that's 10 years old on there. She got her stuff already.
Then number 3, you said no more than 3 to 5 goals on your 30, 60, 90-day vision board. Yep. Number 4, this was back to the size again. You said no larger than 11 by 14, so that it's transportable.
The words and phrases, short words and phrases was the other thing. You want to be straight to the point.
Yeah. Then I took another note. I made a number 6 too, and I said, make sure you include a gratitude statement on your vision board.
Yes.
So did I miss anything?
No, you got it. Oh. You absolutely got it. And so a lot of people, I've had people say, well, who wants to sit down and do a vision board? Think about it. We practice for everything. If you had a game, if you on a baseball team, you out practicing. Practice is what? I don't know, 2-3 times a week or once a week. You're practicing for that game that comes up. you know. And so why don't we do that with the goals that we want in our life? Why aren't we taking that as serious as we take if we sing, if we know we have a performance coming up? You're listening to that song all day long, you're singing it all day long, but you want to improve your health, but you're not even writing down what do you need to do to get that done and revisiting it every day to look at it. It doesn't make any sense why we don't want to put in the work, because you can ask God for everything. I like to ask God for the wisdom to do what I need to do to get what I want. I don't want him to just give it to me. I want him to help me to see what I need to do and the resources, and show me how to get to the resources and get, you know, what I want, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to probably be more than what I actually asked for, because I have gained the skills to obtain what I'm looking for. And so it's work. It's not just, you know, it's not just going to happen. And so I often get people that contact me because they'll see my before and after picture thinking, you know, it was like Monday, this picture 674, and then I lost all this weight on Wednesday. Girlfriend, no, it was years in between that before and after picture. What you don't see is all the work that I had to do to change my relationship with food and to not put myself in certain situations. Like, you know, I don't like to go, you would never see me like in a smorgasbord or something, because that's old and I'm dating myself. What do they call them places now?
Buffet.
Buffets.
You couldn't get me to go to a buffet because it's just too many food choices for me. And I've been very fortunate. Having a gastric bypass, my tool still works for me. So I'm only able to get, you know, 3 to 4, maybe 5 bites out of what I'm eating. And so if I go somewhere and there's 20 things to choose, it's too much. And I'm not going to feel ashamed for that. Guess what? Don't ask me to go, because I'm going to say no, because I'm always going to put myself first. And all it's going to do is upset me. So I'm not even gonna put myself in this situation, because I respect and I love myself. And so you have to know exactly what you want, and you have to put in the work to get it done. And what people don't understand is when you're focused, and I'm using weight loss because that's what got me into this area. Now I use it for everything, job, money, whatever. I use it for every single thing. But when I really started to focus on, okay, I got to get this weight loss started again, I focused on, okay, I want to walk for 30 minutes today instead of the 5. You know, so then I came up with a trick for that. I used to say, okay, let's go walk for 15 minutes. I made sure I did a straight path, and then I turned around and I came back home. Then I got my 30 minutes in. Whatever I needed to do to get that done, instead of me just asking to lose weight. No, let me know, let me think about what I need to do, and then I'm focusing on those things that I need to do, which is a daily task. It's not something that you just put somewhere and you never go back to it. It's something that I have to put into practice every single day. And that's where your vision board comes in. You want to make sure you look at it every single day. Every single day. You want to make sure you create affirmations that are aligned with what's on your vision board, and to say it and to write it and to say it when you're in the car. Every time you're at the red light, go through all of your affirmations, and then when it turns green, move on. We practice for everything else, but we never practice for things like this. And that's why it's so hard. And you find yourself, you want something, and then what is it? Always Monday, right? Oh, I'm gonna start on Monday. And every Monday, you ain't did what you said you was going to do last Monday, because on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you didn't do anything. You didn't practice. You didn't look at it. You didn't recite it to yourself. And that's why we end up being in the same place and we don't move, and we keep getting stuck and can't push past.
I heard this, and shout out to Sharanda, who I met at this retreat that I went to recently. She's a certified health coach, and she made a really good point about starting on Monday, or saying you're going to start on Monday. She said, instead of saying you're going to start on Monday, reset every 2 hours. Don't wait.
Yeah, love it.
I thought that was really awesome. I was like, I'm going to start doing that. So I might get off track, but I'm gonna give myself 2 hours to reset.
Nope, absolutely. And when you're more in tune with what you want, and I like to call that aligning with your higher self, because your higher self, she already knows exactly what she wants. And
Mhm.
she probably sitting at you like, look, I need you to get yourself together because I already know what it's going to be like. I know what it's going to feel like. I know how I'm going to dress. I know what my makeup is going to look like. My hair's going to look like. I'm waiting for you to come on. And you just sitting there waiting for Monday. And then by Monday at lunchtime, when all of your coworkers are ordering out, you forget that fast. You be like, girl, get hand me that menu. And you ordering out too, because you haven't practiced your affirmations. You haven't practiced looking at that vision board to keep that constant reminder right here all the time for you to keep it in mind of what your goal is.
Yeah, we have some comments. I'm gonna share the comments. The first one is for Mrs. Adams. She said, hey, Ronnie, congrats. This is from Tanya Randall. And one of our good girlfriends, Lisa, joined us and she says, I love this. I never really thought about how to be focused and strategic with a vision board. And our good girlfriend Tanya also said a gratitude statement is an awesome idea. So those are our comments so far.
I have some comments. I'm gonna try to keep it brief because I could talk about affirmations and vision boards and so
I want to hear it all. Don't be brief. Share it all with
Yeah, we want to hear
I know,
it all.
I know that it has to do with quantum physics, and like I said, another life I'm going to learn quantum physics, and I'm going to be able to teach it on a level that people really understand it. Excuse me, because we use it. It's available to us, and it's present with us all the time. We just don't know. We don't harness it because, like Daryl was saying, negative affirmations are just as powerful as positive affirmations. So people will willingly dismiss the positive ones because they don't believe it, but they're constantly saying negative ones, and they don't understand that that's what you're speaking into existence. And I do my vision board. This is up. I have one up every year. Like I do it every year, but I don't do the 90-day one, which is a good idea, but I do have a intention book. So I'll write intentions. Sometimes I'll write weekly intentions. Sometimes I'll write daily intentions, things that I want to make sure that I don't, that small goals that I don't forget that I want to complete for myself. But one of your affirmations that you said is one that I say every day, like it was similar. Things always work out in my favor. So I'm one of those people. And another thing that I write, because I have my books right here. I have my Power Hour books right here. I have actually 3 of them, but I'll spare y'all. This one is my affirmation books. And one of the 2 affirmations that I write every single day is that I'm a goddess of abundance and I want for nothing. Like I don't want for anything in my life. There may be things that are not necessary that I may want, but my needs are all met. I have a roof over my head. I always have food to eat. I always have a way to get back and forth. I have people around me to give me things that I need. So in abundance, people think of abundance, they think of money, but it's not like you said, it's not the money that you really want, it's the freedom. It's like money is a tool, just like, a car, get you back and forth. Money it's not the amount of money. It's if you have a goal that I want a lot of money, then you could be a millionaire. You can have $1 million in a bank that somebody gave you, but you can't spend it until you're 70. Technically, you're still a millionaire, but you can't use your money until you. Yeah. So what's the point of having the money if you can't use it? So you have to ask you have to manifest or try to manifest the things that you want to do with the money, and then those things will come into your life. And then you have to be grateful for it. This is my gratitude journal. You have to be grateful. You have to, every time something small come into your life, even if somebody says, oh, let me buy you a cup of coffee, I'm grateful for the free cup of coffee that I had today. And more things come into your life. And the other thing that I wanted to say is about the Power Hour, because the other thing that goes with quantum physics is those levels, that beta, theta, what is it?
Yes.
Beta, theta.
Yes. I can't remember either, girl, but they work. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you have to be careful what you feed your subconscious mind during vulnerable states. And one of the vulnerable states is when you first wake up in the morning. And a lot of us like grab our phones, we look, we scroll through social media, we look at emails and text messages. That's like you're overloading your brain with information that it can't filter out what's important, what's not important, where's my goals, what's my information, what am I supposed to do? Because you overloaded it with all of this input while it was in a sensitive state. But if you take time in the morning, let me meditate, let me write down my goals, let me write down my affirmations. What am I thankful for? And what's gonna happen for me today? And one of the things that I always say, because I'm a nurse and I don't work as a nurse full time, but I work as a nurse at PRN. And one of the things that I always say is I'm going to have a good day. Like when I'm leaving out, I'm going to have a good day. And when I promise y'all, like there's no codes, there's no falls, there's no nothing. When I'm in an entire hospital, it's a small hospital, but an entire hospital. And it's to the point where there's certain people that say, oh, she's here today. We're having a good day today. It's going to be a good day. Because I speak it into existence. And the more you believe it yourself and you speak it, other people start to believe it too. And then there's some synergy. Yeah. There's synergy in that. But the Power Hour specific, and the other thing that I do that's probably, it's probably not the same concept as a vision board, is I'll occasionally write letters to myself.
Yes.
Another powerful thing, but you write a letter to yourself and it's kind of like goals, but you fold it up and you put it somewhere that you're going to forget about it. Put a notification in your calendar. Sometimes people do it like a year later or 6 months later, or just hide it somewhere, stick it in an old coat pocket and you find it. And then you'll be surprised at the things that actually can come true from just writing, because there's quantum physics. There's, something about putting intention into the universe that brings things back to you. Write it down, make it happen. Write it down. And then it comes true. But the last thing that I'm going to say is there was a guy that wrote this very short book, and Daryl, you might know about it. It's a very short book. It's been written before I think my mother was born. You can find it. It's a PDF on the internet, and it's called It Works.
Yep.
I'm sure y'all knew you was going to know about it. Very short book. He said, what did he say? Take a card or something, write down goals, put it in your wallet or your pocket, and you look at it 3 times a day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that's
another method that I use of that is called the 369 method, and it's a numerical thing of and I can't even explain everything.
Tesla came up with that 369 method.
Yep. I say my affirmations 3 times in the morning. I write them in the middle of the day. I say them 6 times, and I write them 6 times. And right before I go to bed, I say them 9 times, and I write them 9 times. And
there's something powerful about those numbers.
Powerful about the numbers. That you mentioned I call it scripting, the writing of the letter. And so I do that as well. I just have a journal just for writing those letters. And I may write, I mainly write my future self, and I'll say, girl, let me tell you what's going on. We finally got the house that we wanted. Like, talk about.
You write it in present tense, right? Yeah. Right, present tense, but your goals in the future.
It has already occurred. And I wanted to piggyback on you. You said you may have $1 million in the bank, but you can't touch it. How many people do you know, if you go and Google it, people who have won the lottery
and lost it all?
Yeah, they're broke because they still have the broke mindset.
Yeah.
That's why they lose all of that money. And sometimes we're so focused on what we don't have, we walk past things that it could be, you missing it. You're missing your point. Like people who are looking for love, you so trying to find this man, you done passed about 3 of them, God trying to give them to you. You have passed him because you're so tunnel vision on instead of really writing down what you want and making sure that you possess those things that you want, so you can attract what you already have in yourself. So
that you vibrating on that frequency. Yep.
Damn, it's so true. I'm so glad you said all of that, because I'll say to my clients, now look, I just need y'all to roll with me. I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna tell you to write this letter, and they're looking at me. You want us to do what? And
The first time I did it, I almost cried because I had like 3 different things that I wanted to manifest. And it was like a year. It was like 1 year to the next year. And I did it on Facebook Live. Like I was blown away because it's like the things that if you put yourself in a good vibration when you're doing it and that good energy, and you ask for things that, okay, you might think is a little bit out of reach. It comes true.
that's why I said you can the good thing about the affirmations when you start with them and even your vision board, you don't have to believe it because your subconscious mind is non-linear. She doesn't have no sense of time. That's why I sit down with a good friend about something that happened 2 years ago and it was
The
so
time flies.
y'all done laughing like it just happened because those are the emotions that come up. Your subconscious mind has no sense of time. So lie to her. That's a one good time that you could just sit there and lie and say, girl, we rich.
Yep.
Girl, we got this
Yep.
party now. Just lie to her. She has no clue whatsoever.
Yep.
No clue.
That is so true.
We have some more. Did you want to say something, Marcy? If not, I'll read the comment.
Go ahead, read the comment.
Okay. We have our good girlfriend, Shania says, a way to motivate creating vision boards and having accountability. Accountability is to have vision board parties. And our good girlfriend, Tanya Randall said, yes, Shania, but every time I say I'm going to have a vision party, it never happens. Then Shania replied back to Tanya and said, yes, I'm sorry, I'm doing one virtually in January. Send me your email and I'll invite you. You don't have to plan a party and you don't even have to leave your house. Laugh out loud. So hopefully we'll connect.
Yeah, I think that's important that sometimes, so again, I started one, but I like the ideas that are here because I think they need to be small and manageable goals to start with, especially if either you've started and haven't been successful with it or you haven't started one. And we think of having, vision board parties, but it can be 2 people. It doesn't have to be a group of, it's lovely to have, as girlfriends, we always love to get together. We always love to have a big group, the bigger, the better. But I think we also have to think about, so if I start with 1 or 2 girlfriends, then that's good just to start somewhere. But I like these ideas in terms of really making them manageable and writing things down.
Yeah, Jeanette and I did our vision boards in January, and it was just Jeanette, me, and another girlfriend, 3 of us, and her niece, of course, Peyton. But and she made a vision board too. We're starting her young. How old is she? 10. We started her young on vision boards, and hers was.
Sure, she has some vision.
Oh yeah, hers was really good actually. She was really into it. So
I feel like the younger ones are better because they're more creative. Like we start to lose our creativity as we get older.
and she was really intentional. Like
Right.
hers was more specific than Jeanette's and mine for sure. From what
I think so.
Yeah.
Kids do not have boundaries. So
Nope.
we put self-imposed boundaries on our dreams and our goals. Children don't do that. And
Yep.
so, you want them to dream big, right? We should still be tapping into that same energy that we had as children, right? So that we could remove the boundaries.
Yeah.
That's our most natural, I think, purest state is, when you're a child.
And we have another comment from our good girlfriend, Juanita. She said, hey, G's, I was without connection. I believe in what you see you can achieve. My daughter had a Tesla on her board 5 years ago and has one now, including her homes.
Wow.
Yeah. We agree.
Well, I only have done one vision board, and that was probably about 6 years ago. So this is not something I commonly do. And I think I went to a party, I don't know if it was Hugh or, well, no, it was one of my girlfriends who had it and invited me. And I thought it was neat. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, stick to it. I mean, I can tell you some of the stuff. I went to try to look for and I had it up in my spare room. I must have taken it down recently, I don't know where it's at, but I know some of the things that I had on there. One was weight loss. It was 6 years ago. It was before I had my weight loss surgery. And it was the summer before I had my weight loss surgery. So that was one goal that I can say that I have been able to do and maintain. I also had weight loss surgery 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And 6 years ago this year. And I've been maintaining my weight. One was I wanted more grandkids. And shoot, I don't know. Marcus made me mess up my Zoom.
I can hear you though.
Shoot. No, I hear you. Bye. Hang up. I'm on the thing. I see you when you get in the house.
I'm
You
live.
pull it up outside. I'm sorry, y'all. Loud as it can be. Like I can hear you.
It's all good.
But
More grandkids where you stop.
yeah, I only have one grandchild at a time, so I wanted more grandkids. So I have two. So I
Wow.
have two more of those.
Don't be putting that stuff on your vision board for me.
Right. That's what I was
I
thinking.
didn't.
That's what I was thinking, Daryl. That's don't
Yeah,
put-
they gonna get
I'm curious. Did you have anything?
But
about-
that's what I wanted. Like I'm a family person, so I wanted to expand my family, and so I'm happy of that.
Did you have anything on
So
there
now
about
I need to
starting your business?
refocus. Huh?
You have anything on there about starting your baking?
No, I did not. I did not have anything about starting my business, and that didn't come about until after I had the second grandchild. So at this time I only had one grandchild, and so it was the birth of my grandson that really kicked that off. Because when he turned 1, my daughter was like, "Mom, you can do this. You can make these cookies for me," and then that's what started it. And that was 4 years ago. Yeah, he's 5, so 4 years ago. So yes, I need to do that. I need to do a new one, and didn't have one there. I was going to get married neither, so that wasn't a goal neither 6 years ago. And here I am. So I think that's important to set out goals and try to reach them. And I'm gonna start.
Mhm.
Cool.
I might be joining y'all January. Jeanette and
I have a,
Tara.
Nice.
okay, yeah, come join us. We're gonna do it January 1st.
I'm glad we're having this conversation, though. I think it's very important. People, this is information that, should be shared like community wide, right?
Yes.
And like the Bible talks about writing the vision and making it plain, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, it's just, these are things, practical things that we just, haven't put into practice, practices that have been lost over time. That I'm sure if we went back, and talked to some of our ancestors, these are probably practices that they used. But it's such important information. Setting goals is important. Writing it down, being intentional. All of this is it's great information. Daryl and Amira, I thank you for sharing your knowledge as it relates to this topic.
I have a question for Daryl and Amira.
My notes.
What are your thoughts on this is the first time I've ever seen this, but the vision board type planner things or the books that have the words. I know you said we should have bold words. And so when I recently worked on this last vision board at the event, they had these books that had the words, different words in them. What do you think of those? Or you said you're not a fan of magazines, but I think you were saying you're not a fan of magazines because people.
I'm not a fan of magazines. Look, it's funny you got that, and I got it right here because I have one that I saw. And I love it because I put words in there, and my audience is me. I am my audience. And so I have things in my book that are bold words. Some of them are, different colors. I like a lot of my words to be black and white. And then I go in with the embellishments and make it come to life. I go in with the markers and just to bring those words and those phrases into life. I'm having a vision board event this Sunday, and so that's what I'm going to be teaching and showing people that you want your vision board to be clear. And like I said, specific and strategic, like no games, no little frilly little things on it. You want to set that vision board, the base of that vision board, and then you add in the other things to bring it to life, like rhinestones. But you don't want it so flashy that when you look at it, you have to look for things. You want to be able to see all of those 3 to 5 goals that you're working on, you want to be able to look right at it and see it there. And so to my answer to that is absolutely yes, because I created one and I sell it because I love it and I use it. My husband say, well, is it for you? Is it for everybody else? Because I keep going to it and cutting stuff out of the, out of the, but I love them. I love them.
I'm gonna read some more comments. Letitia Campbell, she says, hey, Daryl. And she said, vision boards are best when you're doing it in a different environment. I'm so glad Daryl is doing her in-person event. And her next comment is, yes, cutting pictures out of magazines is so old school. I love the way Daryl is doing it because it actually creates results. And she says, yes, Daryl is the lead at what she does. And she just is agreeing with everything you're saying. And she says, right, you're requesting a vision board, not a glitter board. Oh, creating. I think she's saying creating. You're creating a vision board, not a glitter board. Laugh out.
I like to respond to the question. I do like the words because words have power, and even if you there's different. Again, I'm going back to the quantum physics. There's like seeing it, speaking it, writing it. There's like different levels, but it's powerful just to see something like flash at you. Because if you think about it, when you're driving down the street, you see a stop sign. What you gonna do? Won't stop. That's just one word, and you don't even have to focus on it. You know that's a stop sign, and you know you better stop. And even if you saw that stop sign somewhere else, like if you was walking down the hall and it was a big sign because you wasn't allowed back there, it said stop, you're gonna stop. So I believe the words have power. So I do like those planners that have just the bold words, especially if it's something powerful.
Yeah. We condition ourselves, just like if they're working on the street, you know how they had those guys that they had to stop and the other person had slow,
yeah,
maybe through the light, but the light is red, and he may have slow, you second guess it, like, no, the light is red. We have conditioned ourselves, and so you have to spiffy that up and change it up to say, you know what, I'm gonna go through this light because I see him holding a sign slow and I'm gonna feel okay about it. But you stop and think about it first, because we're so conditioned to stop at that red light, which is a good thing because nobody wants to get hurt. But that's why I wanted to create that space for people to set that intention. And so my thing about that is like, this is not your average vision board party. This is the ultimate vision board experience. And so
tell us about it. Tell us about your event.
About it. So it's Sunday. It's in Baltimore, Maryland. And like I said, it is going to be the ultimate vision board experience. The energy in the room is just going to be phenomenal because I'm going to be teaching about you have to be aligned with your highest self. And no longer can you just say, okay, well, I'm going to do this and just say it and don't put actions to it or don't think what you're really asking for. So we're going to be doing inner work and connecting with, the subconscious mind. I'm going to be teaching how do you make sure that you're giving your subconscious mind the direction that you want to go into, because you're really only responsible for 5% of what you do every day. It is your subconscious mind that is doing all the work, but you constantly say you want to make a change, but you're not addressing the person that actually makes the change. You're not addressing that person. You're just thinking on the surface. So I'm going to be digging deep, and it may be a little bit of tears, and it'll be okay. The energy, that girlfriend sitting right next to you, she's going to pat you up and you're going to be okay. I'm going to have a catered brunch. I got a DJ. I'm a very theatrical person. And so that's why I like to say it's going to be an experience. We won't be sitting around just, cutting out at random letters and pictures from magazines. It's going to be very strategic and specific. And when people leave, their vision board will be complete and they will have a purpose and they will know their next steps of what they're going to be doing. And so if you want more details, you can go to jeansanddreams.com. It's called Jeans and Dreams Annual Vision Board Brunch because I'm going to be serving brunch. And it's going to be amazing. And you know how I know it's going to be amazing? Because I determine my outcome. And so I already know that I'm going to be changing people that Sunday in a way that they are able to change themselves. Like, I don't change my clients at all. I give them the tools that they can use, and so that they can make themselves better. And in return, they're making the world better. And that's how I give back to the world. I know what my purpose is. And it feels absolutely amazing to be able to talk in such of a matter of fact way. And I've lost, a couple of people because some people can't take that when you know that it is nobody that can change your mind about what your purpose is. And so it's important to me that when those ladies, and I keep saying ladies, I wouldn't turn a male away, but again, I'm always talking to myself. I wish I had somebody like me when I weighed 674 pounds, because that person wanted to die, but couldn't die because she didn't want, people, or I didn't want my husband to experience them having to get a whole bunch of people to take my body out of the house, because two people couldn't pick up a 674 pound person. So, but that girl, that 674 pound Daryl, she absolutely saved my life, because she decided to have the surgery. And I love her because she made that decision. And so she started talking to the background. She started talking to Pepper, and Pepper went into gear. And there's nothing that can stop me in what I'm doing. Absolutely nothing. So we're going to have a ball, and just that energy that I just gave to you, it's going to be nonstop energy on Sunday.
I know you gave the website
Girl,
address, but give us the information, like the time, the location. cost,
Yes,
all
it's
that
at
information.
Studio 1718 Belmont Avenue. That website is jeans with the S and dreams.com. The tickets are $127. If you put in the coupon code CUTE, because that's my other tagline, cute, curvy, confident. So if you put in CUTE, you would get $15 off. And all of the materials are included. All you need to bring at this point is a picture of yourself, a current picture of yourself. You don't need a marker, you don't need a board, you don't need anything cut out. I always say, if you really have something that you found in a magazine and it speaks to you, absolutely cut it out and bring it with you. But you don't need to bring anything, just a picture for yourself. All of the materials are supplied. And I have a guest speaker. Her name is S. Monique Smith. She is known as the longest living Jane Doe. She's from Baltimore, Maryland, and she's going to be speaking. So the energy, I was very strategic, like I always say, in creating this event. All of my vendors are strategic. They match my energy. I interview people, because everybody that comes to this event, you will be touched on that day. And that's down from the person who owns the venue, from the person that's serving the food. That energy will be in that room that day. And your vibrations are going to be higher and higher and higher when you leave. I'm so excited. Look, it makes me want to buy my own ticket and sit in the audience. We're going to have a good time on Sunday.
That's awesome. Awesome. Anybody else have any comments? If not, we're gonna ask you to also share about your life coaching business.
Okay. I do. I'm going to be starting another group in January. I do 6 weeks of coaching. And so the vision board is at the beginning of my coaching. I always have my clients to do some type of vision board, or at least setting intention of what they're going to do over those next 6 weeks. And so I've created a method. I call it my signature mindset makeover, where I give you step by step and what you need to do to change your mindset. I used to focus on weight loss, but if you're able to change your mindset, you can go to Weight Watchers, you can go to Jenny Craig, you can create your own plan. You're always going to follow through, because your mindset is, I'm going to do this. And so I realized that I was focusing too much on the end part instead of focusing on the steps all in between. So I created this method for myself where I wrote down, this is what I'm going to do in the morning when I get up. I don't touch my phone for the first hour when I get up. I immediately, when I wake up, I say, thank you, God, for another day to live in my purpose and to make a difference. And so I have my routines in the morning, and I set my intentions for the day. I also utilize the 3-6-9 method. And so I teach my clients how to utilize that method and how to incorporate the writing and the reciting. I'm also a special educator by trade. So I use all of my education skills that I have in my back pocket, and how you can make sure that you're retaining the skills that you are gaining from learning how to change your mindset. I also have I have 2 undergrads in social work and psychology. And so now I'm like, okay, God, now I see why you had me just going to school. Because I was just going to school. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I said, let me try teaching. I had my 2 undergrad degrees. They put me in a special ed class. I went back and got my master's in special ed. And then 2 years later, I had a 1 pound, 10-ounce baby. God does not play. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I said, I wasted all my time going to school. What am I going to do with all these degrees? I'm doing it right now. And it helps me to really change people and how they think and how they approach things. And so when you go through my program, you know for sure that you determine your outcome. You just have to create your reality. And it's just as simple as that, and putting those things into practice. Like I said, I do have my vision board cutout book. And then I also have a 28-day mindset makeover workbook. And this is something that you fill out every single day. I have my clients to do this, to fill out, because you have to practice. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to do this, and then you never go and you practice to it. So with my clientele, I give them that structured way to create what they want to manifest in their lives. And I've had clients that wanted to act, and they got their first acting job. It's like amazing. And sometimes I say, you allowing me to do this? Like, I don't take it for granted. It's not a job for me. It's just my life's work. And I love, love, love what I do.
Are we able to purchase your materials, or do we outside of the program?
Follow me. Yes, you can follow me on IG. I am at Cute Curvy Confident. It's all words together. And if you click the link in my bio, you can go and see everything that I'm selling. I am in the process. Y'all know I gotta get ready for Black Friday. I gotta have something for y'all. So I will be launching my EP. I have a guided affirmations where I say affirmations and then you repeat them after me. But if you go to my bio on my IG, I have a freebie on there where it's a guided affirmation freebie. I have about 4 freebies on there that can get you started, in the meantime. But I cannot wait for my EP to come out. I'm going to record next week, and I'm so excited. I sing a little bit to y'all.
Daryl, can you repeat your IG information again?
It's at Cute Curvy Confident. And that's it. Yep, Cute Curvy Confident. And on Facebook, I am Daryl Inspires Mindset Transformation Coaching. I got goosebumps. I'm telling you, when you know your purpose, y'all, I can't even explain it. I can't explain it. Like, when you know your purpose and God has revealed that to you, you cannot sleep on it. Like, I wouldn't even feel right if I wasn't doing what I was doing. I wouldn't be the person that I am if I couldn't, share all this information. It's like, it would be wrong to not tell everybody how easy it is to completely change your life around. It's so easy to do. It just takes practice. And to be honest, you already know what to do. The theme for my event on Sunday is I am my answer. That's my quote. I am my answer. You already know what to do, but sometimes you need someone else to just hold you accountable and to remind you, okay, hey, did you say your affirmations today? Or what have you? And that's where I come in to kind of solve that problem of how to get it done. But you already know what to do. You really do. You just have to look within.
We had our girlfriend Tanya said, I'm still looking for mine. Can I put that on my vision board? I think she's talking about the affirmation.
Oh, the affirmation?
I think so. I think that's what she's talking about. She wants to put on her vision board.
Absolutely.
Her affirmation or her purpose. Maybe she's not sure what her purpose is.
Okay.
Oh, purpose. Yeah, maybe that's what she was talking about.
You're
Yeah,
still
she said my purpose.
Okay, so if you are still looking for your purpose, I'm telling you the best thing that you can do is get a journal. You get a journal and you just free write. You free write. You think of problems that you have and how would you solve those problems? How would you give back to the world? You always have to have gratitude as part of what you're doing. You know, one of my other gratitude statements is, I'm grateful for all things given and all things yet to be given, and I humbly contribute back to this world, making it better, because it gives you your purpose. So then when you think of that, how can I give back to the world, making it better? And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something that you've been struggling with, something that you are trying to overcome, or something that you have already overcome. And it's probably 5 million people that have that same problem, and they don't know how to do it. They know what they want, but they don't know how to get to it. And so that's where you come in. So you find your purpose. You can even ask yourself, when I pass, what do I want people to say about me?
Mm-hmm.
That's another way that you can think about your purpose. I want people to say that, you know, my smile lit up a room, or after they finished talking to me, they felt 10 times better, no matter what their size was. Because my thing is, you know, we stereotype people who are heavy all the time, and you don't even know me. You know, some people may look at me and say, oh, you still need to lose weight. Girlfriend, did you see that before picture? First of all, I was cute then. You know, but my wellness is absolutely gorgeous, because that's better than this. I want my heart to be well. I want to be here for my children. You know, I have 3 beautiful girls. I have a loving husband that we've been together since the 10th grade. I want my life to mean something. I want people, when they come to see me, to send me off, to know that I have moved up to another level. And I want them to say that I helped them to wake up feeling absolutely amazing. That's how you find your purpose. Just keep talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you said that about legacies, because that was one of the things that I challenged. It was friends and family one year. I said, write out your legacy. Like, write, what is it that you've done? What is it that you want to do, and why haven't you done it yet? What do you want people to say at your funeral? Like, what do you want people to remember you as? And it sounds morbid, but it's inevitably going to happen. So write it for yourself.
Yep.
And if you're not writing things that you want to hear about yourself, then you need to get to work.
You need to get the work. And you need to, like you said, get the work and actually do the work. And self-reflection can be hard sometimes. It can be hard. And, you know, I say to myself, well, you say, you know, you want to do your business full time, but your website ain't set up. People say to me right now, oh, I want to go and get your whatever. And you like, oh, okay, well, I got to put it on the thing. Like, my site is set up, but I know because of the holiday season, I'm going to revamp it. Sit up. I learned that the hard way. No, it's set up. But we don't think about it. We don't sit down and write down, like I said, be strategic. That's like my favorite word. And one of the hardest words that I have to say, because I have a list. And guess what? I don't care. So you have to be strategic about it. It's so important, and not just haphazardly say these things. Oh, well, I want a house with a pool. I've wanted a pool since I was a little girl. It's no question in my mind that I'm not going to move into my house that has the pool. It's that's not even a question of if, it's a question
when.
of when. Yeah, it's a question of when. But if you had talked to me 6 years ago when I started all of this, I would have been like, well, you know, I'm never going to be able to do that. Oh, that's cost too much. Or this, you know, you go out and spend $400 on, Alicia told me that. I was thinking, you spend $400 on your weave and stuff. She said, girl, you spend $400 on the hair. So, make that happen, right? How do you get $400, and how often do you have to go and get it re-sewn in and all that stuff, you're probably spending about $2,000 a year on hair.
On your hair, yeah.
So imagine if, and it's not to say that you can't have that and start your business. Why not? The biggest thing that was stopping me from starting my business, I kept thinking, I got good health insurance. Well, guess what? I talked to a girlfriend. She said, girl, me and my husband have good health insurance and we both have our own businesses. You better go on Maryland Connect and get your health insurance. But that was a mindset stopping me that no, and we also train our children that you got to go to college, you got a good job. They were very strategic and specific in teaching that because they need workers. But the people who own Amazon, you think they working? No, because they got workers. So I don't want to answer to anybody else. And then why should I have to? And helping people at the same time. So it's for anybody. It's for anybody. So get your business girlfriends. Y'all come to my event. You have your own table. Y'all set your business goals for the year and for every 90 days and come back to it and see what you will be a year from now, where you will be, because now you have a plan for the entire year and not just looking on January the 1st and then waiting to come back next January the 1st and you haven't moved. You've only moved a little bit, you know.
It's all this ties into what I've been, my affirmation for myself, or what I've been preaching to myself for the last few years, is living a life by design, not by default. So
I love that.
yeah.
You got to design it, not by default. That is so powerful. You are asking about that. You know, we let our parents tell us what you're going to do. I tell my girls, they say, my youngest, she's like, I want to start a vegan, I think I want to sell vegan lip gloss. I said, okay, well, let's get this popping. You don't have to wait till you get out of school to start a business. Your father can design your website. I can help you with this. Let's start researching where we get it from. I tell my children, you don't have to wait until you are an adult to start a business. You can start a business right now. You know, and not have to answer to anybody. How many of us just want to just wake up? You're still gonna wake up and you're gonna work because it's your work. It's your work that you're doing. So it's important that we teach our children that they can absolutely do anything whatsoever. But then we have to give them the tools and make sure that they're telling themselves that they can do anything. And it's not just us rambling it off to them. So I love the idea. I think someone said they had their niece I love that because she's going to do whatever she said that she's going to do. Trust me. Yep. And I don't even know her, and I already know she's going to do it.
You are absolutely right. She is a very determined little person.
And ask her what kind of business she want to start. She don't have to work for nobody. She can work for herself.
Amen.
Yeah, I just went through this whole exercise. I'm in this leadership program at my company, and they have us going through this exercise. And one of them today speaks exactly to this. It talked about what messages did you get, positive or negative, from your family members, clergy, I mean, like the whole 9 yards, and how those impacted the choices and decisions you make in your life. And really being intentional about messages that you receive or that you really speak to yourself. So it starts young, like you said, it starts really young, the whole training yourself to take in positive messages.
Well, you know what, how many of the messages did we receive from our families that that our family members thought were positive, right? And really, instead of promoting like a growth mindset or just a mindset of you can do, like there is no one way of doing, like you don't have to go to college, you don't have to. I know that we were, for my family being a first generation college graduate, that was a big deal to my parents.
Right.
But and my parents did very well for themselves. They didn't go to college, and my father was an entrepreneur and did well for himself. And my mother did extremely well for herself as well. But they still believed in go to college, get a degree, get a job. And listen, I'm grateful. They did well for me, by me. But there are other ways, right? Other avenues to explore. And we don't often, as a community of people, I think we're getting there, push our children to just kind of explore that way, to have that freedom, I should say, to just kind of follow your passion, your heart. You don't have to, do a traditional path. You can take a non-traditional. So I think this is just so important because it's breaking a lot of
Generational.
right mindsets and all those parameters that we put on ourselves. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
We're the only species that domesticate ourselves.
Yes, and so many like societal things that we buy into subconscious
Yeah.
that prevent us from being all that we could be, right?
Yeah.
By as we could. So
We
it's
got to flip that switch, like I allow my children to ask me why. I couldn't, you said why to your mother and father in my age, you crazy, but I want my children to be critical thinkers.
yes.
I explain to them, this is why I said no or what have you. Now, sometimes I just got to say, mommy just said no because I just need to say no. And I may explain it to you later, but I just say no. So they know when I do that, they know, okay, I'm sure she'll tell me later, and I also apologize to my children too if I'm wrong. My mother never said she was sorry to me and she was wrong a whole bunch of times, so, and people, my parents didn't talk to me about money, that was grown folks.
Right.
We speak to our children about money because you have to respect money because it'll come back to you, but you have to respect it. And if you often say, oh, we don't have money to buy that, what you want? I don't say that. I say all the time, oh, I have the money to get it. The question is, do you deserve it? I have the money to get it because I don't want them to think that, oh, money is like you only get a little bit of it. No, I want them to know money comes to me frequently, easily, and unexpectedly, providing for my every need and every want. Y'all see, I spit out them affirmations all day. I'm not playing. I am not playing.
You know what? One time I wrote that out. I did that scripting method, and I swear I lied to you not. Y'all can believe me if y'all want to, but I got like $10,000 in 5 days. Writing it out. Money comes to me easy and effortlessly.
Yep.
I was just trying it because I saw it something like on the scripting method. Let me try this. $10,000, 5 days.
I know it happened for you. It can happen. Absolutely. Yeah.
This is great stuff.
Yeah, this was all really good. And,
Thank you, Daryl and Amira, for your visionary insights. Most helpful, most helpful. Indeed.
yes. Well, last year in November, and we didn't discuss this, so I'm just putting this out there. Last year in November, we took a challenge for the month of self-care, and every day we were supposed to do something focused on self-care. And I'm just want to remind people that self-care is important. So if you need to focus on that, we'll challenge you again this November to every day of this month. And we've already started it with 4 days. So from now until the end of the month, every day do something for yourself. Like take some time for yourself. If it's just to speak these affirmations, if you hadn't been doing that before, speak some affirmations to yourself daily, or do something to focus on you. So
that power hour.
Power hour, yes. I'm
Morning power hour.
challenging everyone to do that. We should always do it, but let's make November our focus every year on self-care. How about that? And part of that could be gratitude. Every day, write something that you're thankful for. So, you know.
That's a good idea, because sometimes we're so busy doing for others that we don't sometimes take time to do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, so let's try to do that. And then let's all get ready to do our vision boards. Do you have a particular time? Is there a particular time that's good to do vision boards? Like I said, I like to do mine at the beginning of the year, but I am going to take your advice. I think I'm going to make a large one again and then break it down into smaller versions, transportable versions, 90 days at a time, and go from there this year. I'm going to try that. I like that.
January 1st is a good start because it is the beginning of, you know, a new year. And so because everyone is in tune to that, the energy is great. So absolutely, I would say do one on January the 1st. But, you know, 90 days from that, or if you do that one big umbrella one on January the 1st, you could do maybe wait a couple of weeks and then look at dissect it and
Mhm.
space it out, you know, every 90 days. Let me see what I'm going to do this vision board on. And you could go, you know, you could go from there. I like to do one around this time, and that's why I'm holding my event, because I don't want to get ready for 2022. I'm going to be ready.
That's a good idea.
Probably will do one on January the 1st, but I'm already going to be clear about what I'm going to be working on for next year. That way I have started already. I'm not just going to be starting and trying to figure out. I've already figured it out. This is what I'm going to do. And that's why I like to do it before January the 1st.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like, I like the idea of your party. So people who can't make your party, then maybe if they just start thinking through for
Yeah.
January 1st, that's a good idea too.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, my son has his in he has his party in November as well. His is like a big event as well. Like he's food and DJ and
Yep.
speeches and
Yeah.
bring that. You got to lift the energy up in the room. You got to lift the vibes in the room because you know the vibrational frequency helps with manifesting the things on your vision board as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got me, Amira. You know exactly what I'm gonna be doing on Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, I'm already there. If I wasn't working, I'd probably take the trip. I'm already there with you.
This is annual though, right, Daryl? So every year you have this, right?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, because I've had so many people to say to me, either they're working or they can't get to it. I may just have to change it because I have a lot of people who are interested. And like I said, a lot of people like to do it around January the 1st. So I'm thinking I'm probably will be doing another one. And so I just like it's going to be everything, like I said, like it's not going to be, I'm not going to do your average vision board party. It's going to be phenomenal. So I may be doing another one, probably towards the middle or the end of January.
Okay, so you'll come back and share that with us when you.
Yeah, I will. Absolutely, I will. Thank you.
I have a question about your mindset course. You said you have one that starts in January.
Yes, I'm going to be starting it in January. It's going to be a 6-week course. I haven't made all of the details out yet, but I normally like to do my coaching groups no more than 3 times a year because I like to keep in touch with people in between when they're finished. Like I have an app that they have access to, that they get messages every day. It's almost like I just sit right here on your little shoulder just to say, hey, excuse me, did you do this today? Did you not do this today? I'm that kind of coach that you don't just attend my programs and then you never hear from me again. So I always create some type of space to keep in touch. So I'll be putting out more about that. Of course, Sunday, I'm going to offer that on Sunday for my participants, and then I'm going to open it up to the public. So I will be sure to share that information with you all.
Is that virtual?
It's virtual. Yep. We meet on Zoom like this once a week. And of course, I hold you accountable. And I always tell people, whatever I say is always in love. Because, we like to make a lot of excuses about things. I didn't get a chance to do. No. So, but I'm very loving and very kind. But at the end of the day, my goal is to help you to get to be the you that you want to be. And you can't be the you that you want to be when you constantly let doubts and excuses come in. So, I always say, as soon as you get rid of your excuses, you're going to find your results. You're going to find results.
Awesome.
Right. Awesome.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, that was awesome. I'm inspired, totally inspired. This has been an incredible, powerful, and information-packed session tonight. So thank you to Daryl and Amira for joining us this evening. And all of our good girlfriends out there, we hope that this has been a blessing to you. Share this information with your families. We're trying to change the whole community. So share this with your families and friends, and either plan a party or do it by yourself or whatever works for you. But let's get our visions out there so that we can change, be the best people that we can be what God has in store for us, and change this world in a positive way. So we will end here, but we will be back in 2 weeks, and we're not sure exactly who our guests will be, but we're going to have a cooking session.
Uh-oh.
So get ready for Thanksgiving with some healthy cooking tips. So we
Yay.
will we'll be back. It may just be us cooking. The girlfriends cooking healthy options for Thanksgiving. How about that?
Oh, I may have to come. I'm plant-based. I may have to come.
I was gonna say, I'll be tossing up a salad.
I may have to join y'all so I can share a couple of plant-based things.
Oh, that would
That'd
be
be
awesome.
awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yes, I'll be.
Yeah.
You stay on
I
after.
love that.
Make sure you stay on after for our after show. We need to talk to you about that. But yes, so we look forward to seeing everyone in 2 weeks. We'll have some type of cooking expo in 2 weeks. We've been a blessing to someone out there, and we hope that you have a wonderful evening, great weekend, and stay safe until we see you again in a couple of weeks, 2 Thursdays from now.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.